How's it going, guys? Today I wanted to talk about DLC 4's Easter egg and what has been added. I think it's through the latest patch recently when you're trying to load up a map. So I'll come and show you. You probably all know about it, but if you see in the bottom right corner there, you'll see these little symbols. Now, obviously for me, Shadows of Evil is grayed out, so is the Giant, and so is Drax. But I did Zetsubu no Shima after this was introduced, so I've got a glowing little, I think it's a gateworm from Shadows of Evil there. So what I'm thinking is the next map, it'll obviously deal with Nikolai, it'll be Russian, and I think it's Stalingrad, so, we're going to get his worm. So that'll be DLC 3. So then, by the end of it, we're going to have the summoning key and 4 gateworms. Now, what I'm thinking is, for DLC 4 the Easter egg, it's going to kind of be like how you open up the Pack-a-Punch in Shadows of Evil. You will need these items to do it, so you get there, and let's say I only have that gateworm. I'd only be able to place the gateworm down in, say, DLC 4's Easter egg, and I couldn't place down the summoning key or these gateworms because I technically don't have them, on me. And so I wouldn't be able to progress with, DLC 4's Easter egg. Kind of like how Black Ops 2, you couldn't progress the end game unless you'd done all of Maxi's sides for Transit, Dire Eyes, or Buried, or Richtofen's sides on those maps, and you also had to have the nav cards on every map activated to do it. Or it's kind of like with Black Ops 1, how you had to have Call of the Dead and Shangri-La's Easter egg done to be able to do Moon, and I think they tracked it just if you had the trophy or not. I'm not actually sure how that was tracked, honestly, but you couldn't do it if no one in your group had them done. So, they've been doing this for a few games now, and I've seen people suggest that, this is going to, have something to do with Shadows of Evil, how, we've got the summoning key and 4 worms there, but we're already placing them down, The only thing I can really think of is after placing those down, you activate them again, and then something happens like the Apothicon Servant upgrade, but I think it's really unlikely that it's a Shadows of Evil thing, even though it uses Shadows of Evil items. But as we've seen, the souls that went into the summoning key, they became gateworms. So these gateworms would represent the original crew. So we'll use their souls and the summoning key, and that'll activate the final, well, at least a part of it. I don't know if it'd be the start of the egg or maybe near the end of the egg, but my suggestion, guys, is by the time DLC 4 comes out, make sure you have all these done. The Giant is pretty easy to do. I think all you have to do is just get the Annihilator, and that's very easy. Darius and Drac, it's a bit hard, but if you know what you're doing, you can get it done pretty easily. The only really hard part is honestly just dealing with the final boss, and so you should be able to get that done with some good planning. Zetsubu no Shima, it's a short kind of Easter egg. Mainly all it is just building the buildables, honestly. And it's more the map and the Thrasher bosses that are kind of annoying and having to go back and forth, but it can be done. So overall, I would, in some parts I'd say it's easier than Darius and Drac, in other parts I'd say it's harder. But, if you've got a friend to do Zetsubu no Shima with, it's honestly it's another easier Easter egg to do, honestly, but it's doable in solo, obviously. The hardest one, of course, will be Shadows of Evil, because you do need 4 people, and I have heard reports that, it's been crashing when people are trying to do it to get that summoning key emblem. It's like, I think it's when they upgrade the swords or get to the flag step or something, like it always seems to crash. So hopefully there will be a fix by then. Or, maybe they'll hopefully do a patch or something that, because I've done all of these. If you go into my achievements, I've done Darius and Drax. I've got the calling card, the Dark Ops card for Shadows of Evil, and I obviously would have done the Giant. So, maybe at some point they'll introduce a patch that will reactivate those for me and anyone else who's done them, but I'm not going to count on it. So, I'm going to try and get these done as soon as possible. At least Shadows of Evil, because that's the one you're going to need people with. These ones can all just be done in solo, obviously. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on how this is all going to work out? I'll see you all later. Cheers.